All right, I'm excited about this one. Please, if you want to make money, if you want to learn, you got to sit down and pay attention because I can't deal with your short TikTok brain. This is a long one. This is going to be my longest video yet. I'm coming with so much information. And first of all, my incentive why I'm doing this, I get no money ad revenue. I'm not going to make anything from this. I don't care if you watch, if you don't listen, if you invest or not. I'm doing this because I'm learning how this is the future and this company is going to make me a lot of money. So in turn, by doing the research, I'm just kind of making this video really for myself. So, you know, take that as you will. That's my intention. And I think this is going to be a really good company. So this is why I'm going to be going over HOVR for the second time. I ran a first analysis. It was a past video, and everything I go over in this video, and honestly, all my videos are completely new. I don't like repeating myself, and anything I'm going over in this video today, I haven't really found anywhere else. Everything is kind of public knowledge, but really at the end of this, you're gonna feel like you're an insider. You're gonna feel like Nancy Pelosi after a Congress meeting. Okay, so consider this your Congress meeting, and at the end of this, you're gonna decide what you want to do. That's up to you. But yeah, without further ado, I'll just jump into it. I'll give you a little bit of the macro of the kind of what I'm going to be going over in this video, and then we're going to be going over each one. So honestly, each thing could be a whole video of itself. But first, I'll be going over what even is this whole eVTOL space, why this is going to change the world, and where this is really shaping up to be, why HOVR I think is the best one for it, a little bit about the team and what they're doing right now and where we're going, a little bit about why they're hybrid and not just electric, and then a little bit more about that, their wings, and just some other things we'll kind of get to. There's a lot to talk about. I'm super excited. This is going to be my best video I'm recording. I've done a lot of research and I really, really enjoy this. And this is just the beginning. I have so much more that I actually want to talk about HOVR. In fact, I even want to interview some of the people there. So we'll jump into all that. But before I lose you, because I know I've got attention span of a goldfish, so I probably already lost you. But if you're staying tuned in, you want to really learn. So grab your beer, grab your popcorn, and sit down. If you're not ready, this is going to be a long one, so maybe watch this at a later time. But this is not something you could just kind of off the whiff learn in 2 seconds. So this is going to be long, but let's just start from the top here. All right, what is transportation today? If you're not using planes, you're using helicopters, right? There's really almost no other method of transportation. Unless you're talking about military use, they have all sorts of different aircrafts, but that's for very specific use cases and not for everyone. And eVTOLs are shaping up to be that for everyone approach, right? So helicopters are really the only use case right now, and as you can see, they're very niche. They're really mostly used for ambulance, tourism, for fun. I've been on one literally just for fun. There's nothing to do. You come back and land where you were, right? There's no reason to really get on it other than fun. And then VIP transport, really rich people, whatever. You understand that. eVTOLs is going to be for the mass market, and that's changing a lot. That's huge, actually. So this is just very niche, and eVTOLs is going to be literally a whole. Imagine the helicopter industry, just like 10x, even more than 10x, probably. I can't even think of how many orders of magnitude this can shape up. Transportation as a whole, right? So with that, because eVTOLs is a completely new thing, there's regulation that needs to be taken place, and this adds a whole new complexity because we need to create quietness, lower maintenance, charging infrastructures and vertiports, which we're going to talk about that, why HOVR is going to destroy this. They don't need this, basically, to sum up, but we're going to talk about that later. Now, the big picture is regulation here. And there is a whole roadmap for the regulation, actually. Let's pop that open here real quick. Now this, just like I said, there's so much to go over and I want to make more videos on HOVR, but this is literally just the beginning. I haven't even fully read through this, but this is a whole roadmap that not one government, this is multiple different governments are working on. And here we have Canada, Australia, Great Britain, US, and New Zealand. Okay, these 5 great American nations are all working to create a roadmap. I'm going to read this and make a whole separate video on this. I want to really dive into this deeper, but we're not talking about that. I just want to give you the bigger picture that there is a roadmap, and what this means is huge demand and changes are coming. And let's just go over some quick examples, okay? Drones. In 2016, I believe it was, they issued Part 107, which is basically a license to be able to have a drone and fly a drone, and they created a regulation for how you can operate and use drones. In fact, I actually am licensed to do that. I have a drone that I fly around for real estate, but that's besides the point. Since then, you had DJI and a bunch of other companies pop up, right? DJI, my bad. Cannabis got some regulation and cannabis stocks soared. Now they're obviously really that low, but they might be coming back. This was a hype cycle. Crypto, also, as you know, currently being regulated and it's freaking booming. Ride sharing, Uber, Lyft, and EVs, right? EVs are, well, I don't know too much about the regulation. The regulation actually is taking place. It's more the self-driving regulation that's a whole nother, you know, industry. But EVs themselves also as an industry, like, had a lot of tax incentives and people were buying EV cars, right? I mean, I got a Tesla myself because, well, it's just the best car. But aside from that, if eVTOLs are going to be the best form of air mobility, well, why use a helicopter or a plane, right? Especially eVTOLs that you'll be able to travel far distances, which HOVR is compared to the competitors. I'm not going to go over that. I went over, as I said in my last video, on Joby, Archer, and you know how they differ in many different ways. Real quick about the TAM though. We are a 30 million, 50 million market cap. It's changing all the time, honestly. You know, this is a penny stock. It's moving a lot, but we are a penny stock to what could be, you know, I'm not saying Mag 7, but this industry, this TAM is just, I don't know where these numbers are coming from. I'll be honest. I didn't do the full research, but somewhere I saw 2030, the TAM is going to be 125. If you don't know, TAM is total addressable market. It's just what the whole industry is going to be worth. 2040, they're predicting a $1 trillion market cap as a whole industry and 9 trillion by 2050. I mean, this growth is absolutely insane. HOVR likes to talk about the 1 trillion market cap by 2040, and it looks like, oh, Morgan Stanley. That's right. I got to read that report. That could be a whole separate video on the TAM. Morgan Stanley predicted that in 2021. That's pretty interesting. Autonomous aircraft. While HOVR is not autonomous, I actually have a lot of questions for them about that. In general, if anyone at HOVR is watching this, Brandon, if you're watching this, definitely would love to chat. I have tons of questions and even ideas for maybe how we can improve HOVR, but that's beside the fact. I don't want to jump into too much of that. I actually, about that, I love that they're open to changing things. So we're gonna jump real quick, just here. They just recently partnered with this guy, Andrea Mocellin. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but what a beautiful name. And they just partnered with him to design and like kind of, I guess, improve the aircraft. So I love that they're always like improving stuff. Now let's talk a little bit about the team though and Brandon. Well, actually specifically about Brandon. I did mention in the other video, he's operating this company like a startup. It's super lean and I love that. Other reasons I like him is he's obviously not trying to be, you know, one of those CEO founder-led like top guy where he's like, first of all, he's a Top Gun, which is in and of itself so cool. But he's operating like, you know, he's just kind of like not the front-facing guy like Elon, right? Or for example, Sam Bankman-Fried or Elizabeth Holmes, how she completely changed her entire persona as like, you know, this visionary founder. Brandon, I have no fear of him doing anything, nothing fraudulent. Like this guy seems super legit. And beyond all that, we'll get to awards later, but he won Leader of the Year. Let's jump real quick into this. Leader of the Year for eVTOLs. Like, you know, this is they pick awards for like the best eVTOL companies, and we're gonna get into that later on. But you know, that's a great signal as well. I mean, he's literally getting awards. I don't know if Sam Bankman-Fried or Elizabeth Holmes ever got an award, but you know, these are just some good signals is what I'm trying to say. And then, you know, if we actually look into a little bit of his background, you could check out his LinkedIn and stuff yourself, but he was a CF-18 fighter pilot. He has some really, well, for a while. Wait, a fighter pilot. Okay, 3 years and 10 months, but he was 12 years, 7 months in the Canadian Armed Forces, where he was a fighter pilot there as well. And I mean, aside from all that, he clearly has a huge background in military and aviation. I'm not sure what Royal Rose University is, but that sounds like very I don't know, engineer, or more like clearly like a specific type of school. I don't know. I'm not gonna dive into that right now, but all his past like history, what he's done for work, license and certification, it's all clearly like in this flight aviation space, which is just good. He obviously knows what he's talking about. He obviously knows his stuff, and he's been the CEO of Hover for 12 plus years. This guy is like not. I mean, it's not even just loyal. Like he's not flip-flopping here. He's clearly all in on Hover, and I really really like that. This guy is not unlike unlike quick sidetrack Archer, which I really like Archer, but Archer was founded by Adam Goldstein and Brett Adcock. If you don't know Brett Adcock, he is really, really cool. But look, if you look up Brett Adcock now, it says CEO of Figure AI, because he pretty much doesn't care about Archer anymore. Not that he doesn't care. I mean, he's made good money from it, but to him, Archer is kind of solving like a small problem, and he's trying to solve a bigger problem, which is robots. Pretty interesting that here you see the plane right behind him. But what he's trying to do is figure AI robots. If you don't know about that, that's a whole nother thing. I actually made a video on figure AI and about him before. But that's just like, okay, like this guy started Archer and then he just moved on to a next problem. Brandon here is clearly been in aviation all his life. I don't think he's going anywhere. And just, as a macro, what I'm trying to say here is this guy is cool. He's got clearly like, he clearly is gonna grow Hover and to be a legit big company. I don't think this is some, there's no scheme going on here is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, beyond that, let's talk a little bit about who he just partnered with. Andrea Mocellin. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but it sounds luxury. What a name. And then let's take a look at this guy and what he's done, okay? Has some amazing designs, okay? And also, let's talk about him. What a total stud. This guy looks great. This profile photo is also really great. I love that he doesn't even look at the camera. Like he knows he's got class, he's got style, he's fucking alpha male, okay? This is the guy you want on your team. You don't want someone who, this guy clearly gets his shit together, and if you are kind of like a representation of your life, right? Like if he takes care of himself well, that means he does that in other aspects of his life. The way you do anything is the way you do everything, right? So I'm sure his design and the way he works is A1. And you can see the actual work, right? But I'm curious of like the process and how he works with a team. But just from looking at him, I haven't even heard him. I'm sure probably sounds great. He sounds like, I don't know, is German. I wonder if he's got the gift of gab. This guy looks like he's got all the talent in the world. But let's just jump into a little bit about what he's done. So I think why they hired him is most notably he worked on the design of the Lilium jet, and whew, what a beautiful plane that was. Honestly, probably my favorite design of any eVTOLs. And you know what? I will say that's not a high bar, because most of them are ugly as hell. They all look like helicopters, which when you think of a flying car, you don't think of propellers. So I love that, he designed Lilium's jet, which is really one of the coolest looking jets. And also Hover's aircraft is like pretty cool also. You don't really see the propellers because of the fan and wing design. So the fact that he's jumping onto the Hover team is super bullish to me. Like this is really great. Like what this means is actually multiple things. I don't know. I want to actually talk to this guy, do a whole interview, but I'm not sure if he's going to be improving Hover's design of their current aircraft, or literally are they making a new aircraft? Like, I'm not sure. That I'm really curious about. And if they are, what's the difference going to be? Because right now their aircraft is the best. Like it goes like the farthest distance, can carry the most capacity, the quietest, the safest. I mean, what else more do you need? Like, this is amazing. What else more do you need? Some crazy extra shit that you don't even know, think you need, okay? The wings fold, okay? As you see here, we didn't even get to that yet, but these wings are freaking folding. No one asked for this, but this is just genius. And like, this is good in so many ways. But the biggest thing this is good for is because of like, um, uh, cargo, I guess, like transport. Like, imagine you could literally park this thing in your garage. Like, you could fold the wings and fly it in your garage just like a flying car. Okay. And okay, we're going way beyond here. I know we're talking about him, but we're kind of jumping into these things here, and I want to get to that. All right. I'll just finish up with Andrea here. So, Andrea, I'm not sure what your plans are, but I'm super excited to see what he's doing. As you can see, he's worked with Neo. He's worked with some really, really good notable companies. Um, and one of them that's pretty cool. First of all, what is this? This new air ground concept. This looks really cool. This almost looks like a car made out of like the movie Tron. This is so cool. This guy's his designs are cool. What I'm worried about is, are these do these ever come to life, right? The Lilium jet failed. I've never seen anything like that on the road. Obviously, it's brand new, but he's designed supercars, I guess, and some really nice things. But is that the Roadster? That's not the Roadster. If he's worked on the Roadster, that'd be crazy. No. Oh, okay. Maserati probably, or Romeo. Okay, really, really cool companies. He's worked with established OEMs. And HOVR is like the fact that this is actually super bullish. The fact that he's worked with established OEMs means he could, work with them more. Like Tesla could probably hire this guy, but he's choosing to partner with HOVR. That's wow, like hell yes. Hell yes. This is the guy we want on our team. Like I said, total stud. And he's gonna help HOVR make an awesome design. And that's gonna sell itself. Like, I don't care about marketing. Like, okay, we're jumping a bit here, but we have here Joby winning marketing team of the year. I don't care. I want the product to market itself. Tesla doesn't pay for marketing because the product is the marketing, right? And that's what I want. So the fact that he's on the team, super bullish for many reasons. Love this guy. I would love to get on a talk with you. Andrea, if you're watching this, I'm going to reach out and message him, but would love to chat with him and learn more about how he's approaching this. Um, I didn't think I'll get into this, but you know what? I'll save it for another video. Biomimicry. If you know anything about biomimicry, I would love to know if you're looking at biomimicry to improve HOVR's aircraft. That would be awesome. Should make a whole nother video on that and what I think you guys can do with that. But honestly, I just want to know like what your process is and what you guys are kind of doing to improve this, and then just like, yeah, just learn from you guys. So and see like where I just want to know, because ultimately design really determines the development. So if the design is good, that means the development's going to be like a breeze and all the specs are real. Like how we were talking about here, the fraud stuff. The only thing I'm like quote unquote afraid of is that the numbers aren't legit. Not the TAM and stuff, but things like they carry 1,500 pounds. This little plane carries more than anything I've seen. And I've seen, look at this crazy thing. We have Bay Systems, the Strip, okay? This thing can only carry 300 pounds. How does HOVR carry 1,500 pounds? I really want to know. That's crazy to me. And this thing is literally built for carrying weight, okay? So let me show you. They claim, I think, something like we can carry a shipping container, but then they claim it's only 300 pounds. And look at how this thing flies, like a really weird way, but it's clearly all meant for cargo, okay? Like their focus is exclusively cargo, right? We have Elroy Air, also exclusively cargo, and they only carry 300 pounds. HOVR is not just carrying cargo, it's carrying people, it's carrying a lot of stuff. So yeah, I just don't get it. I don't get how, we're beating everyone else. I want to know a little bit more of the design because of that, because once I understand like, oh, the design makes sense, like this is why we're able to carry this much. For example, the distance, okay? The 500 miles distance. that is because, here, let's just jump into it. That's because they made a decision to go hybrid and not only electric. Because if we're only electric, this is going to be a long one. Okay. Joby and Archer they're all electric, but they only go about 100 miles. It's not that they have a capacity of 100 miles. They have a capacity of more, like 150, maybe 200 miles, but they cannot risk having under, like, let's say 50, 40% battery. Once they get to a certain battery, they need to land and charge. And first of all, that takes a lot of time. The hybrid approach here is you fuel up, so super quick, and you can fuel up anywhere that there's gas. You don't need a vertiport, a charging infrastructure, which is what we spoke about here. That's already like changing the game and allowing more mass market opportunity. Whereas once you have this, you're actually kind of limited on the market. Like, it's more for, I guess, just really urban markets. Whereas here we should change this to rural and urban markets. Rural for hover, not Joby and Archer won't be doing rural because 100 miles doesn't get you far. And also, like I said, you're gonna have to charge it. So let's say you go, 100 miles. Now you have a next person flying. They're gonna have to wait, I don't know, 30 minutes, an hour. I think they're like 50 minutes. Whereas here you could just fuel up the aircraft. Now, aside from all that time stuff, the reason it goes 500 miles is because it's hybrid and it runs on gas. So it's mixing both. It's using electricity only on the vertical takeoff and landing aspect, but on the actual cruising, flying forward and getting to a location, it's not really using much power. It's using the hybrid approach, from my understanding. And so what this means here is, imagine Joby and Archer like literally just use the electricity for their takeoff and landing, and then the rest they can go, beyond the 100 miles, because the biggest usage of the battery is on that going up and down stage, because that's just, it takes up a lot of, even on an airplane, right? The biggest use of the gasoline on the airplane, I believe, is when you take off. I don't know about landing, maybe, probably, but I know from takeoff, like it's obviously you spend way less when you're cruising, right? So same concept as airplanes, it goes with these eVTOLs. So the approach to go hybrid, I think, is a really smart decision and a really big one too. And that's why I think design is so important, making the right design decisions before you actually start building. And they only have one aircraft that they built, but they did it the right way, they approached it the right way, and that's what matters. Lilium obviously didn't, and that's why Lilium failed. And yes, Andrea was a part of that design, which, as I said, that conflicts a little bit what I said, determines development. But he also probably learned a lot of the mistakes from there. The biggest mistakes is not using these wing and fans that HOVR is using, and using this jet-powered, tiny jets, actually. So, he learned a lot from that, I'm assuming, and he's probably now going to be in design meetings with the team at HOVR, who has awesome engineering experience, and even, this awesome CEO with all the aviation history and knowledge that he has. So I'm actually really excited to see what comes out of that. And I wish I could be in those design meeting rooms. That would be cool. You know what? You guys should just record it for us. That would be so cool if you guys could just record these. I don't know, not record them, I guess. Just make a little more of a. HOVR's got some really cool videos. They make, they have these kind of episode things. So that'd be really cool if you could make an episode on your design process. But yeah, so that's a little bit about the hybrid decision. I want to quickly jump into the folding wing stuff, which is really cool. Like I already said, you can store it in your garage, which would be cool. But okay, so just take a look at this. This is what it looks like when it folds. I mean, look how small of a plane. It's literally as narrow as a car. Now, I haven't seen them do this in flight, but it's obviously not a concept and a prototype. It's not just a concept. They clearly have here a working prototype. So I'm really curious to see them actually, I've never seen how fast it actually maneuvers. But why is this important? And well, I didn't even think of this. Like I said in the beginning, we didn't even ask for this. This is just extra. But this is actually really important for their mission, and part of a design choice too that they're making to be achieving this mass rural air mobility problem, you need to be able to go anywhere, right? So these vertiports and charging infrastructures don't make sense. So that's why the hybrid decision. This folding wings, didn't even think about it, but it makes sense for storage, right? And also, okay, we have also the wings are very expensive and slow. A lot of people already store, let's say, their planes in a hangar, right? If you can store it, let's say, in a storage container, that's much cheaper, so you save money, and also quick, because it's very slow to. You're gonna have to take down and unbolt the wings. Here, they literally just fold, so you can imagine this is just an order of magnitude cheaper and faster. Um, they win in so many ways here. It's just incredible. I love this company, and haven't even talked about share price or anything. Look, I don't care about share price. Honestly, anything under $1.50 right now, I'm buying. Even at $2 is a good deal, I think. But none of the market cap stuff matters right now. I just want to understand, like, this is the company to win the eVTOL space, and that's what I believe. The more I'm learning about it, so yeah, this is awesome. The folding wing stuff, super cool. What if it could open in the air like a parachute? I have no idea if they want to do that, but this would be so cool. I mean, they show here how this is obviously like on the floor, but imagine you're in this like military cargo plane and like, just like how people jump out of these and parachute. Like, what if this thing could just like fall backward and then mid-air, like open the wings and start flying? Like, you don't need, forget vertiports, charging infrastructure. You don't even need land to take off. Like, what if you could just take off midair? How epic would that be? I don't know if that's at all a mission or something they're even thinking of or trying to do, but just some extra thing to think about since they already have this folding wing design. So let's talk about the fully electric distributed propulsion system and what this means. And this is actually super cool. So what this means is, like we spoke about, you don't need chargers and vertiports. Why? Because, well, think of it as like a microgrid in the sky. Just like how you don't you get your energy or electricity from the grid in, like outside, right? Like the FPL, right? In my case, wherever you are. But you don't have like imagine basically like they have this sort of, I don't fully understand it, but from what I understand, it's like a little grid in the sky, like your own little powering hybrid. I need to really get into understanding it better, but they generate electricity as they need, and they could generate through gas. So while that is not so renewable and sustainable, whatever, it's efficient and it works. And what that means is less regulation because, electric vehicles, electric planes, all this eVTOL stuff has a lot of regulations because it's new. But big oil has been around, it's all regulated. So, the fact that they're using the hybrid approach, that makes the regulation actually much easier and safer. And there's endless redundancies because let's look at their plane real quick, actually. HOVR aircraft, okay, I'm obviously spelling it wrong, but let's look at their plane. So it's not one system. From my understanding, or maybe each two or each single wing has its own sort of this I don't know what to call it, the fully electric distributed propulsion system. That's what they called it, I think, on their papers and stuff or whatever. But I need to do a whole deeper dive into that maybe and do a whole nother video. But from what I understand, it's really useful because you don't have to charge. Yes, they do charge, and they could go to vertiports, and it is beneficial. But to go the long distances, you don't need a charge. You can live in a rural area, use your gas, and then maybe when you're in the city here and there, you can charge in a vertiport while you're doing your business or whatever, and use that later. But whatever, that's a whole nother video I should make and learn about that. What also is cool about it is a fly-by-wire system, which works like the Cybertruck steer-by-wire. If you're not familiar with that, basically what that means is, like a regular car, you hit the gas pedal, and first of all, there's a lot of noise, right? And you're actually running the engine. You're actively, like, you're turning it on when you hit it. here you're just requesting power. Think of it almost like a remote control, like a joystick or something. You just click a button and it's just like, I don't know, I guess like electric, like it just requests power through a wire, right? You're not clicking a button like strong and putting like force to make like, I don't know, maybe a bad example, but the concept here is because of this system that they use a fly-by-wire approach, which I believe just gives you better handling and like balance and, well, I don't know about balance, but better like control of the aircraft for the pilots, which is just a win-win. And they could do this because of this electrical approach versus just just gas. So that's the benefit of the electric part. Also, it's quicker. Just like when you're in a Tesla and you accelerate. Oh, also, that didn't talk about that, but that's why they use electricity on the hover and going down, because gasoline is like slow and just like the acceleration on a Tesla is really quick. That's why we use electricity on the ups and downs. And yeah, quicker, better control, and safer, and all that stuff. So, oh, endless redundancies. That was just about the fact that I think each one has like their own thing. I'm not gonna act like I know what this is all really how it works, but if they all have like their own little, let's just call it microgrid, then if one goes out, it's no big deal. You have a bunch of other redundancies. And yeah, and you can see here they have so many wings. And yeah, this is across the board. All eVTOLs have kind of these endless redundancies, which is why it makes it much safer and a better alternative to helicopters. But yeah, that's pretty much it about that. All right, we're gonna end it here with this careers and awards. Careers. I really like to look at a company's job offerings and see that, well, one, for a tiny company like this, and I've looked at many microcaps, usually they have like 1, 2, 4 positions open available. They have here, I don't know, what is this, 4, 8, 12, 6, 17 job openings available for what is a pretty small company, in my opinion, compared to other companies that I've seen in the stock market, right? I mean, 17 is not a lot. I mean, it's not a little also. The company is valued at 50 million, but these are all very high skilled, specific jobs that are all, if you just read them, I'm not going to go over them, but they're all like forward driven jobs. Like they're looking for engineers. They're not looking for accountants and people to help make the increase their EBITDA and make things look better, right? This is all about literally everything here is engineer, quality control, like safety, efficiency. This is all what they're looking for. They're looking for improving their aircraft. And on top of all this, we have Andrea that they just hired 2 weeks ago, actually. I didn't even mention that. He was literally just hired 2 weeks ago. So we have yet to see anything to come out of his work. It's super early. But once we have some news, HOVR's wings can now go so much faster, and we do all this extra stuff. I don't know. We can now carry 2,000 pounds because of our new design. The stock will move. The stock will skyrocket when we get some good news like that. I really think so. And yeah, I don't know. For many reasons, I really like this. This is a bullish signal that they are hiring good, skilled labor. So let's move on to awards that we also briefly spoke about. I don't know eVTOLinsights.com. I don't know how much emphasis to put on how important this is, but it is really cool to see that HOVR is being recognized in what is now, like, there's so many companies and there's such a small one. So it's really cool. And not only they're being recognized, I mean, they won more than one award here. So we have, as we spoke about, Leader of the Year. How awesome is that? I mean, this is how we know we got a good CEO behind this team. I mean, this is honestly, what more could you want? If there's one thing to pick from here, this is what I want. The person behind the company is more important to me than the actual like marketing, the design, all that stuff. The person behind it really drives the company. So this is awesome, super bullish. And then we have here Company of the Year, under 50 employees. Yes, so they clearly have here more 50 to 100 and then 100 plus. But I don't even see Joby and Archer here. This is crazy. I don't know these companies too well. There's a lot to look at. I don't know what this is. Medial d'Or? I don't know what that is. That sounds like Ballon d'Or, like the soccer, like the best player of the world. I don't know. But it doesn't matter. We got company of the year, like small, good company of the year. That's awesome. And actually, for 2024, last year, they got Best Company Culture, which is really cool. It looks like now Viasat won it. And I don't know if HOVR didn't win it again because maybe they want to be a little like diverse here and not give the same winner twice. Maybe I'm wrong, but it doesn't matter. Last year, we got Best Company Culture. That's really good to know that like the team is, that comes from a good leadership, right? So that's why he got leader of the year, maybe, because he's got good culture, and that's really important. That's great to know that, the team likes being there, working for them, and that means we're gonna see improvements from them rather than, you don't want like hearing that the team is splitting up, and I don't know. It's just bullish signals. I'm kind of talking maybe too much into depth about that, but all these are little signals to me as like a whole macro thing. I like this, I like that, I like this. Overall picture is just like this is really cool. This is great stuff. I don't really see any red flags is what I'm saying. So I'm just kind of pointing out green flags here. Actually, there are a bit of red flags, but I wouldn't really call them red, maybe yellow. But I don't want to get into that. I want to make a whole separate video on that. This is already very long. But let's end it with here. Awards, career. Okay, we just kind of, yeah, we went over the careers, awards. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So the only other award I would like to see them, but this is like more of a future stuff because right now we got the like leadership and good company. But next year I want to see them win design team of the year, and I want to see them win engineering team of the year. But maybe this could be 2027 because design comes before development. So yeah, that would be really cool. Stay tuned. I guess it comes out in April, so we got a long time. But with their new designer guy, with Andrea, this would be probably achievable. And pretty cool that Archer won it. I'm actually surprised. I'm not a fan of how their aircraft looks, but hey, who am I to judge? Yeah, so there's a lot of different players here too, which is really interesting. I'm gonna look at these companies and really compare some competition. Overall, there's best place to work is Whisk. That's interesting. I actually do want HOVR to win that too, but hey, I won't complain. Whisk is actually a superb company. So, and they're way far ahead and funded by multi-billionaires like Larry Page. So let's not even. I, I will totally accept that because yeah, we're not competing with Larry Page here. I mean, Larry Page is, HOVR's market cap is like peanuts to Larry Page. But whatever. The big picture here is that this is a tiny company doing awesome things in a incredibly growing fast sector behind regulation that really might amplify these things. I mean, I'm not going to get into this stuff, but just look at the charts for any company in this space. Cannabis maybe being the only one that's down, but when regulation came, hype came, and what I'm saying is I don't know if flying cars are the future, to be honest. If you asked me 5 years ago, I thought that this was not at all going to be a thing. Now that it is becoming a thing and regulations behind it, there might just be a big hype cycle with it soon. But we also, the reason I'm quite bullish on this is because we also kind of already were there. So let's just quickly look at like HOVR stock price, okay? It already went down a lot. If you really look, we're at a high of $10 at IPO. This was 2022, 2023. This was the hype cycle, okay? Let's look at other examples. It'll be better. Archer price stock. 2022, here, look, boom. This was the hype cycle right here. You see how everything was high and then everything came low, and now regulations finally hitting, and we are maybe going into another hype cycle. But if this is another hype cycle, this is definitely backed by more like real world working prototypes and actual maybe better projections and numbers and stuff, because back here this was probably all a bunch of fluff, and I don't know, I don't know what I don't know who was investing then. I personally did not, and I actually knew about Archer. Don't get me wrong. I actually knew about Archer since I think 2020 or something. I think before they IPO'd. But I also was not big into investing in stocks like I am now. But that's besides the point. What I'm trying to say is they already ran a hype cycle. The fact that we lost that hype cycle is good because we are probably, I don't want this one to also be a hype cycle. I want this to be backed by real, a real product. And that's what we have here, I think, with HOVR. So really, really loving this company. And yeah, I really look forward to make more videos on this and also speak to Brandon and Andrea. That'd be awesome if I get on a chat with them. And if so, I'll definitely record that for you guys. So anyways, thank you for watching. This was a long one. Let me know in the comments what you think. And I am gonna make this. I make this because, give me a like and subscribe. I want to hear your reactions. Like this is, I enjoy making this, talking to you guys. Like I said, I get no money out of it. I'm a little YouTuber right now. I'm not running any AdSense. So yeah, yeah, chat with me. Also, I'm on Discord often if you want to chat with me there. The link is in the description. Anyways, this has been fun. Until next time, guys, stay thinking, question everything, and peace the fuck out.